This is the Pink and Purple Power Jam 2019. We're just going to party it up a little bit. And then we're going to get started with our topic for the day. So, just groove with me for a few more seconds. All right, I'm going to stop it right there. Whew. So again, welcome to the Pink and Purple Power Jam 2019. My name is Trisha Coleman. This is Talk to Trisha. And I did Lisa Nichols' Power Jam. Was it? It was in August. So early last month. And one of the goals that I set for myself was I was going to have a Power Jam for the Pink and Purple awareness that I do every October. So since 2013, in some type of capacity, it's been in the form of a tea every year. I have promoted awareness for breast cancer and domestic violence. And so speaking with friends, speaking with people that I know, it was like, well, October is a big awareness month. Like there are so many things that October promotes awareness. The month of October promotes awareness. And so the community work that I do has largely centered around trauma. Also, I don't know why it happens this way, but you usually go through a lot of things and then you become an even bigger advocate. And so a lot of you know I have 3 kids now, three daughters. And when I had my last child, I was hospitalized for heart failure. And so I'm a big advocate of heart health now because I went through that. And just to know that it's a thing that can take you out, it's kind of silent. It's a huge silent killer. And that I was walking around with like 30 pounds of fluid in me, and I could have dropped dead at any moment. And I felt fine, except I had a headache. And I was swollen everywhere. But after you have a baby and while you're pregnant, that's expected. And then I reflected on some things that I've gone through with certain employers, certain organizations. And then last night, something happened, which I won't go into detail. But I had already decided that today will be about triggers, about why certain people and certain circumstances and situations cause you to react negatively. Even if you have learned to control it, like I learned to control mine, a big deal. Even though if you were at T. Marie's courageous conversations, you would not have thought so. Because I was talking about dragging people up and down First Avenue North and snatching people's hair out. I was wilding out. But when I feel that way, I know how to walk away. So it wasn't like I would literally do something like that. It was this is what I would feel like doing sort of attitude. But I came across very violent. And as y'all know, I'm a very positive person. But just that subject topic and talking about Black people, well, Black women's experience, that's a trigger. So at the time, I didn't realize that, that rise in my spirit was happening. And I was like, whoa, hold on. That happened, I would do da-da-da-da. And if she said that to me or she did that, I would do da-da-da, but that is not so. So this circumstance that happened, even though I know the person did not mean it the way that I took it, initially my response was, it's because it was a Black woman and not because, and my husband had to explain to me that he took it a different way. So when he explained that, I was like, oh, yeah, I can see it from that perspective. But I just took a deep breath, and I thought, what about this is going to improve my life or change that person's life or help anybody? And does it change the facts? Like the nothing will be improved, or there will be nothing productive from me taking offense or going off or snapping or having a nasty attitude. Nothing will nothing productive will happen from that. So today I want to talk about how you deactivate your triggers, your emotional triggers, the things that people say and do. And it could just be a person. It doesn't have to be a certain topic. Like if you were raped before, you were abused in an intimate relationship, anytime you hear a loud noise, that could trigger you. Or anytime you feel like somebody is confronting you or bullying you, that causes a trigger, and you snap and you go off and you're angry and upset, and you want to put hands on somebody. Mine is disrespect. Anytime I perceive disrespect, even if it's subtle or if it's blatant, we have a problem. And I'm a Taurus bull, so I'm very even tempered. But if you hit that button, yeah, like somebody might lose an eye, somebody might get dragged. But I've done a excellent job of just like getting up, walking away, or just disengaging if it's especially if it's online, just disengage from the conversation, or just state what you state and be like, I'm done with it and whatever. And I'm a comment reader. I will confess, I am a big comment reader. So I read comments, and I like read people arguing and making points. And then, of course, you get the people who, when they don't have a point or when their emotions take over, they start name calling and they start doing just the most, like wishing death on people. Like, that's crazy. And so if it makes sense, people are productively having a dialogue and a conversation, and nobody's belittling anybody, I'll read that. I might even comment. It's very, very, very rare that I comment. And I won't comment again unless somebody like tags my name and asks me the question. So if it's not directed to me, even if it's like replied on something that I stated, if they don't state my name, I'll just ignore it, because I'm like, okay, if you weren't talking to me. Because a lot of people do that. They'll just comment on somebody else's comment, not meaning to engage that person. They're just adding to the conversation. So, we all have the need to be loved, to be respected, to feel needed, to feel safe. I know that's my big thing. Safety, stability means the most to me. And so that's helped me. I'll get to the steps later, but that's helped me to uh, chill out and be like, okay, um, this is not contributing to my sense of stability or my sense of safety. So I'm getting out of Dodge, or I'm resigning from this employer because I don't feel safe and I feel disrespected. And then we also have to feel like we're in control, a little bit. Like, even I'm not a controlling person where I have to control other people, but I have to feel like I'm in control of my emotions. And I can count on one finger the number of times where I felt like I could not control the way I reacted to a situation. Like, it's very rare. Like me, I'm a walk away person, definitely. Some people, uh, they can't, and I don't know if it's a self awareness thing or if it is a personality or whatever it is, but everybody can grow and they can become more self-aware My biggest thing that I'm learning now is how I react to a situation. As long as I didn't hurt myself or hurt somebody else, it's okay. So I I'm gonna rely on my notes because I will go everywhere. So I will relate a story so that I guess you could feel like you're um that's relatable. Um I won't do any adult stories, not right now. But it's one from my childhood. And so I grew up military. My dad was in the Navy my whole entire life, and he retired when I was 15, 16 years old. He had already been in the military in his early 20s, was out for 10 years, came back here to Birmingham, and he was like, and he just shared this with me like about, I say 5 years ago, where he either kept getting laid off or the businesses he was working for just closed. And so he went through that for 10 years and he was like, well, I'm going back to the military. So he went back into the military. He met my mother. My sister was already here. So he adopted her as his own child. And then shortly after my parents got married, my mother realized she was pregnant. And that's the story she told me. As women, we kind of know, but um, only because my first two, I was like in my second trimester before I even knew that I was pregnant. Like somebody had to tell me you're pregnant because I had no clue. I just got really, really sick or I had abnormal reactions. So I'm like, okay, I can kind of see how you didn't know, but that's not what this is about. But being a military child, you come across all types of different children. They are raised different ways, and it's a lot. It's a lot. And so I just remember we lived in Tennessee. We was in base housing, and I was friends with a certain person, cool individual. She had some ways about her, like I didn't like, and I had ways about me that she didn't like, which is cool. But we never like voiced it to each other. It was when other people got in the mix that we had conflict. And it's the same with me and my sister that I was raised with. It's like we don't say, I don't like this about you. And she didn't say, I don't like this about you. But growing up, it would be somebody would do something to me. And I'd be like, you're my big sister. You're supposed to have my back. You were supposed to, like, after I finish whooping on them, you're supposed to whoop on them too. That's the mentality I had. And she's like, no, turn the other cheek. We're better than that as our namesake. We're better than that. But and I won't even get into it. Like some of the stuff was heavy stuff and very dangerous things that happened. And I'm like, yo, like how where's your mind? But as I've grown and I've matured and other things have happened, and then just being married to who I'm married to, and him basically saying for the past 17, 18 years, like, hey, if it's not productive and it's not going to help you, then what's the point of holding on to it? And so, and there's a more positive way I can say that, but right now I can only just relay what's on my mind. And so, but this story, just to fast forward and cut through it, um, I was the snack house because my dad, whenever he came home, he had snacks. Like he had a bag of chips and he would have one for me and my sister because I'm an admitted reformed spoiled brat. Like if you ask my husband, I'm still a spoiled brat, but whatever. But like I didn't like to share. Some things I still don't like to share, but I will because like I love my kids. And so, they want it, I'll share it with them. I'll give them stuff. I don't like it. It greatly upsets me. But as mama, that's what you do. And so me, I'm a if you ask for it, I'll give you anything type of person. Like that's me. If you ask me to help, if you ask me to do whatever, or ask me for something and I have it, I'll give it to you. I'm not a eat off of anybody, drink off of anybody type of person. I don't, that's never going to change. I'm just going to be real. That's never going to change. So if I have a drink or if I have something to eat and you ask for it and you bite off of it, it's yours. Like I don't want it back. So this case, I had a thermos of Kool-Aid. And so I'm drinking it and I really didn't want any more. And so my friend asked, hey, can I have some? All right, cool, no problem. So like I knew then once her lips touched it, I wasn't going to drink it anymore. And so another little girl was like, she looked at me with that, her look said, hey, can I have some too? And I was like, sure, no problem. And so then it was this begging little girl. Oh, her and her siblings, all they would do was beg or they would just take. And that's a trigger. I don't know where that trigger comes from, but I've always had it. And so she was like, well, give me some. Let me get it. So I'm like cool with it because at this point I'm not drinking it anymore because I don't, once your lips touch something, I cannot, like, I get nauseous, so it wasn't a thing of, oh, I still wanted some and you drunk it, drunk the rest of it. I knew I didn't want it, but it was just the greediness. It's like my friend and the other little girl took like a sip. And this other child just drunk the whole thing, like just took it to the head and everything. And I was just like, and that triggered me. So I just went in the house. I was like, you know what? I can't with y'all. And I went in the house and I stayed in the house. I didn't come back out. Then they all walked away. And then that caused a fraction, a fight, not a physical fight, but like we were not friends for about a month after that. And then somebody told me, oh, she said she hates when she acts like that, like talking about me, like, I hate when she acts like this or she does that. And so I was like, okay, whatever. And so then I was talking, one of my classmates lived next to my mom's friend. So we would be over there like at least once a week. And so he came outside and he's talking to me and he was like, the whole thing sounds stupid, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, it is stupid. And I didn't do anything to her. But so for some reason, she wanted to beg a little girl around. I don't know. I don't get it, but it is what it is. And they were like next door neighbors. Like I'll call them duplexes, but they were like 4 houses attached to each other. And then like there was 2 houses attached to each other, then this long brick attachment, and then 2 houses. So it was like a four duplex with carports and stuff. And so they live next to each other. Well, she lived on the end, and then the little girl and her family lived on the other end. So like her house is here and the other little girl's house is here. So they were next door neighbors. And I didn't understand it, but whatever. So it got to this whole like they wanted to fight me because I got upset that this little girl is greedy. Like but it wasn't because I thought the little girl was greedy and I went in the house. It was like they would try to say and do little slick things to hurt my feelings or to, like, I guess put me in my place. I don't know if that's the right verbiage. And I would ignore them. Like that's however I feel at the moment about my parents, I give them the utmost respect because they taught me how to ignore a lot, everybody and everything. I could tune the whole world out and my room would be the only place on the planet in my mind. Like, I'm just grateful for that ability. And so after a while, they came to the house and they were like, so they sent a messenger, the same little girl who like gave me the look like, hey, can I have some? She came in and she was like, well, she said she's sorry if you say you're sorry. And I was like, okay, well, I'm sorry if you took how I felt the wrong way. Like it was a non-apology. Now that even then I knew, I was like, it's a non-apology because I didn't do anything wrong. But I start realizing then there's certain things that trigger me. But anytime, any job I've been on, anything that I am a part of, when I feel disrespected and I feel dismissed, it's over. Like, I'm not going to scream and I'm not the type to snap and scream and holler and, do the neck roll. I'm not one of those types. And I'm not going to physically harm you. I don't feel like I would. I do feel like if I was not able to get away, get out of uh, the space you have me in, like if you have me physically cornered, yeah, you're going to get hurt, because I am a get out of dodge person. Like, when there's confrontation, when I feel my emotions running high, I'm going to get away. I'm going to calm down, even in my marriage. Like, if I'm irritated, I'm upset about something, I'm going to take a while before I speak. And that's me, but I learned that's a great tool. Like, to just not say, like, I'll say, right now I don't have the words to describe how I feel. Right now I don't have um, I'm too upset, or I'm too sad, or I name my emotion. I'm too this to talk to you about this. And when I can, I will come back and we can discuss it. So I'm grateful for that, because that's one of the ways you deactivate your trigger. So, and that's the way I've always been. But now I'm like, oh, I didn't know I was doing something right. So let me share it with others. So I'm going to go to my notes again, because, like I just did, I went on a tangent, but I did get to the point that I wanted to make. Um, what I learned, especially 5+ years ago, went through the ringer with a few organizations, went through some unnecessary drama on a job, and I served the AmeriCorps last year. That was a very traumatic experience. Like, I will be 1,000% real to anybody who asks. Um, and I don't blame me. I blame not having enough information to make the best decision for myself. Like, as a person with a degree and like 15+ years experience, that's married with multiple children, serving your community full time for a year is a bad idea. I mean, I had my baby in April, and in October I was serving in AmeriCorps, and I had heart failure in May, and I had just got released from the doctor in September. So any other situation, it was positive because I was like flat out depressed. I was like on 6 medications and did not know what to do next. And my husband says, I don't care what you do. You could go volunteer somewhere. You could do, whatever will make you happy, because he knows I love to volunteer. I can't explain why. I mean, I think it's my cape that I keep saying I burnt, but I really didn't. My superhero cape, trying to make an impact and a difference somehow. Um, I no longer believe, oh, I'm going to save the world, but however I can help. Going back to, if you ask, I'm gonna do whatever you ask me to. I mean, within reason, like, so, but with if I had more information at the time, like if I had the information I have now, when I first made the decision, and if I had been given the placement that I truly wanted, uh, even though I have more information now, I would have been like, oh, I'm good. Like, even, I said that wrong. Even if I had gotten the placement that I wanted, the service site that I wanted, that I applied for, with the knowledge that I have now, I'd have been like, I just wouldn't have applied. I just would have been like, well, life has made it where that's not part of my story. But if I hadn't went through what I went through, and that's the story, that's like 12 different stories for another day. Then I wouldn't have known that it just was not the right thing for me to do. So I take responsibility and I'm accountable for the decisions that I made, and I'm grateful to have a supportive spouse. And I know that's a trigger for a lot of people, is not having somebody who supports, who appreciates, who helps, that makes you feel needed. That's a trigger for a lot of people. So I'm grateful I don't have those triggers. Mine is just disrespect. Like even if you're joking, if you say something slick and I ain't feeling it, you'll just feel the shift. Like, shift the atmosphere. I'm over it. I'm done. And most of the time I'm done with you. Like, like, we're cool, but I just don't deal with you like that. Like, we're not, you know, I'm getting better at saying, I felt offended, or I don't understand why you said that. Like, I'm getting better at expressing what I'm thinking, but I still wait till I no longer feel pissed off. So, but that happened because I decided to challenge my mindset. So, if you can, on your page, on this page, like, type in the comments, like, challenge my mindset. Like, you have to, with anything that you want to do, but especially when you want to get out like the emotional prisons we put ourselves in, you have to challenge the way you think, challenge the way you perceive things. Even though I say, like, I just automatically would be the type to just walk away. Like, I would beat myself up. Like, oh, girl, you should have stood your ground. You should have said this, that, and the third. And you should have yanked her by her hair. You should have stabbed him with your pen. Like, I had those thoughts. Like, you was like, oh, you was a wuss. Like, oh, you chicken out. Oh, you're so scary. Like, I would beat myself up mentally because I'm not confrontational like that. Now, we'll get people together, but it's not going to be in an angry way. It's going to be like, what you did was not productive, and I just don't flow like that, and I don't want to be attached, or even, because, like, you're judged by the people who you're around. And if this is the way you're conducting yourself, I can't be around you, or I can't work with you, or I can't be associated. I'm going to have to, like, ghost y'all. Like, I can no longer dedicate my time, and I know I'm no longer interested. Like, after I am done being upset or being offended, I can come back and tell you, like, yeah, it's a wrap. Like, I love y'all and I wish y'all the best, and I hope you have much success, but you're gonna have to do without me. So I've grown in that aspect. But yeah, I would actually be like, yo, you should have cussed them out. Like, so and so cussed them out. Oh, you should have threw something. Oh no, you should have turned the table over. Or you should have said, oh, ain't nobody doing nothing. I'm in charge. I'm doing this. Like, you should have put your foot down. Like, I would talk to myself that way and be like, man, I wish I handled that like a gangster. Like, I wish I did something different. But no, like, the way you did it. And my husband, he the biggest part. I just hear him echoing. Anytime somebody touches that nerve, I just hear his voice. It's like, no. Now you're painted as the angry black woman. And now you're painted as, oh, that's why we don't give these opportunities to them. Because you're wilding out, and it does not require that. So I'm like, okay, all right, I did good. Yeah, I should have said more. I should have nip certain things in the bud. Yeah, I should have did this. I should have did that. But oftentimes, after I finish reflecting, and this is something that I want everybody to get, is you have to think back on what have you been praying for, what have you been meditating for, like whatever you are on a spiritual realm, whatever you've been praying for, whatever you've been meditating for, is this actually the answer? And every time I thought about what I prayed for before then, which I'm skipping around a whole lot, but what I prayed for and what I wished for and what was constantly in my heart and my mind, I was like, oh wow, no, these people are actually rescuing me. Like I actually prayed to not have to deal with any of this. So why am I upset? Why am I fighting? Why am I even wasting energy? Like just let them have it. Because you didn't want to be bothered anyways. You didn't want to deal with any of this anyway. So why are you tripping? Why are you feeling any type of way? But it was just the disrespect. Like, it's just a way, and I say this to my daughter, I say this to people, it's like, it's the way you say things and it's the way you go about doing things that is, like you can always do things a better way. And so I'm grateful that the ability to walk away, but I had to learn what my triggers were. I had to gain awareness of what my triggers were. And so I don't think I'm like high and mighty, but I know I'm a person of substance. And so, sorry about that. One of the triggers for me is like how, and I go back to what happened last night, was I know the person and what they've shown me for a decade did not point to them being a racial incident or being a anything that I was thinking in my mind. But a lot of people, when they're offended, they forget your character and who you are as a person. And that's a trigger for me. I'm like, how do you forget all the stuff I did for you, or that I helped you do, or that I'm just not built like that? I'm not low down, or I'm not trying to hurt you. Whatever you perceive is not intentional on my end because I've never shown you anything like that. And I hate when people do it to me. And so I try not to do it to other people. But I will admit, for the first 25 seconds, I was like, Then I said, no, that's not helpful. And then I sat with it for a while. And I said, well, it is what it is. And I told my husband, I said, I just got to let you know this, even though I'm over it and I no longer feel anything about it. But I just got to vent because that's part of deactivating your trigger. And so I told him, and he was like, I don't think that's what it is. He said, no, normally I would have thought that's what that was. But he was like, no, they just might have a problem with XYZ. Or no, they might just not like that. They might, or they might be looking out for you. Like, you just got to think of it different. I was like, you're probably right. But I was like, well, what harm is it if it's not corrected? But so one of the things I would say is when I'm personalizing it, but when I say I mean us and you, is you have to think, how is your body reacting? Like, are your teeth clenched? Do you feel that rise? Do you feel that your fist balling up? Like, or you feel like, what? How is your body reacting? And how are you breathing? Me, like, my breathing is real shallow when I'm triggered. And that's why I'll say, oh, I'm feeling triggered. Because when I'm aware of my breath, like, how, like, and this is crazy. Like, you ever, like, you think about breathing, which I'm thinking about now. And so you go forever thinking about, like, okay, you're thinking about your breaths. And then you're like, it's going to get to a point where I'm not even thinking about it because whatever I'm going through is over. So when I think about the shallow. I'm like, okay, I'm not barely breathing. And when I'm stressed, I hold my breath. So I know that about myself because I've taken the time to become aware of what I do. And then, like, I'm just married to a person who would say, like, I know you're stressed because you're doing X, Y, Z. I know you're stressed because you're holding your breath. I know, that's the way why you're about to pass out now because you're not breathing. And I'm just like, I didn't know that I did that. So I'm grateful that I got that type of mate that's like, hey, you might want to chill out. You might want to breathe. So, and then what's running through your head when you're going through that? Like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about that person? What are you thinking about that situation? What, like, when you get upset, where does your mind take you? Um, and like, I'm being transparent. Mine is like, I want to smack you. I want to choke you. You know, I want to read you up and down because I feel like you're being disrespectful, like to me or to somebody that I admire. And it's not many people I admire. Um, Not many people I admire at all. So if I admire that person, they've done great things in my eyes. And so, if you say anything about them, like even if you didn't mean to be negative, it's gonna trigger me. um, so I used to say it differently, and I can't even remember how I used to say it, but I have it written down. Like, I will change the script in my mind that I am creating. So if you're on your page, if you're on this page, can you write, I will change the script in my mind that I am creating? Because you're thinking like, oh, white women don't respect black women, or they don't want us to have anything. They don't want us to achieve anything. Like, that's not true. Well, in most cases, that's not true. And so, you have to think, you have to be mindful. Again, take a deep breath. Are you breathing? That's what I say to myself. Trish, are you breathing? Like, I don't say it out loud, but it's in my mind. Okay, breathe. Were you breathing? I don't think I was breathing. Okay, take a breath. And then, who triggered me? Why did that trigger me? And all this happens for me now in a matter of seconds. It used to take days. I would just be like reflecting, or for weeks, and I would like be collecting evidence and stuff and be like, okay, I gotta prove that I'm right. But that was unproductive. It was like, okay, what were you praying? What were you just praying the week before that happened? What have you been praying that whole year and the year before? What had you been wishing for? And then it didn't come the way you wanted it to, but it happened. And now you're free. So everybody put hashtag free. So think before, even that day, like before whatever that person said or whatever happened, how were you feeling? Because sometimes, like if I wake up wrong, I'm waking up aching, I'm waking up, just not in a good mood. If I'm waking up, my back's hurting because I'm getting old. Like my dad said, getting old is for the birds. It is. And he's 40 years older than me, but I'm just like, I don't like this. Um, and I'm thinking like, okay, could it be because you didn't eat breakfast that what she said offended you? Could it be because, you went back to sleep when you knew you should have stayed up, that you got triggered? And then again, like I said, we all need to be loved, respected, feel appreciated, feel needed, feel safe. So is there an unmet need? Like, okay, I don't make enough to cover my bills. So maybe my boss saying something to me like, "Oh, are you going to have your report in on time?" Like, that could trigger me because like I'm busting my hump you're not paying me enough, and now you're talking crazy to me. So now I'm triggered. And it could come from something that happened in your childhood. Maybe you had a mother or father who was highly critical of you. You did every single thing they wanted you to, and it was never enough. And that's an unmet need. You don't feel respected. You don't feel appreciated. You don't feel wanted. You don't feel safe. The whole gamut. You don't feel loved because, or they're always like everything's a lose-lose situation. That's, I'll say disrespect is a trigger for me, but that's the biggest trigger for me. Is if something's gonna be like, no matter if I do it or if I don't, it's gonna be some drama or it's gonna be not good enough. I don't have the words to describe, but deactivation, you remove yourself or your attention. Like I said, if it's online, if it's email, you remove your attention away from it. Focus on your breath. Are you breathing? Are you breathing heavy? Do you need to slow it down? Count back from 10? Whatever you need to do. Look at the situation from a different perspective. And if you can't do that as an individual, talk to somebody who does not immediately think like you. Like, again, I've been married so long that me and my husband, we think alike, but we still think very, 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 very different. And so I'll tell him a scenario and I'll say, am I tripping? Did I take that wrong? Did that person really mean it that way? And he'll be like, maybe, but they probably meant it like this. Or if I got this, I would have felt that way. And so, like, he'll have situations at work and he'll come and he'll vent to me, and I will never repeat anything that he tells me that happens at his job. But I'll be like, well, why did you feel that way? And why did you take it that way? And if, they don't care, why do you care? But then a similar situation happened to me, and I work for myself, but I'm part of an organization. And something happened. I was like, oh, I understand how you felt, because when they did this, it was like, well, why am I even trying? Why do I even waste my time? Why do I waste my breath? And then I had to think from a different perspective. And then you find the humor in things. You got to laugh, because if you don't laugh, you're going to snap. So, and then you ask yourself, why does this trigger me? And so, like, full transparency, a lot of things happened in my childhood. Like, I didn't have a bad childhood at all. At all. And I tell people things that happened when I was a teenager, and they be like, man, I wish I had parents like that. Man, I wish I had a mom like that. And I'm like, but I felt like I wasn't wanted, that I wasn't cared for, like it didn't matter what happened to me. I felt neglected. So, like, where you're like, oh, I had strict parents, they never let me do anything. I was like, I just wanted you to care. Like, I just wanted you to be like, no, that's not safe. I don't know them. I don't know their parents, so you can't go. Instead of like, hey, just let me know when you get there. Let me know if you go somewhere else. Let me know that y'all, you move somewhere else. I'm just like, oh, okay, And I feel that way because my sister is older than me, and I just remember my mom going all around town looking for her, and I'm like, you never came and looked for me. And so that just, so that's why it's a big trigger for me. Delay on acting. So naturally, I'm a walk away from it, calm down, don't let them see you angry, don't let them see that they got to you. Just get out of Dodge, and then when you can express how you feel, then you express it. But don't deny. So that's the biggest problem I used to have, is I would keep stuff bottled up and keep it bottled up. And then the smallest thing would happen, and I'd be snapping, and I'd be just getting together. Now, luckily in my adulthood, I don't recall that happening. No, let me take that back. Yeah, it is happened. But to the magnitude, I would say it's been about 10 years since I've let something build up so bad that when the slightest thing happened, I was like, and you don't do this and you don't do that, and I told you not to do this, but you do it anyways, and you're being disrespectful, and just snapping. And like, I had friends when I was a teenager saying like, you are gone. And I like did not realize what they were saying until I saw that my mom did it. Like, her expression was blank, and she was just cussing this person now. She was going off. And we were like, dang, you should be like, there should be some movement. There should be some, like, you should be all in his face, you know, you should be like, you know. But she was just calm. And it's like apparent she just was not there anymore. And she was going off. But nothing about her body language or her expression um, said that. But the words come out of her mouth, we were like, whoa. And it scared me because the person she was arguing with, he was doing the motions and stuff and was all, you know, and I'm like, you better not touch my mom, and you better not do that. When we leave, I'm gonna call, and she better be okay. Because I'm coming back, and we ain't gotta worry. We'll never see this happen again, because won't nobody know where you at. So, and so then when I call her, she's calm, like, no, everything's cool, and that this is what happened and stuff like that. I said, but your expression was blank, and it was like nobody was home. And so I've had people tell me, like, yeah, when you snap, you ain't there. Like, you're gone. And I can imagine, like, I can remember this one instance, and I cannot remember the full story. I just know we were walking back from a grocery store, and one of my friends said something, and I was in high school, and I just snapped, and I felt myself, like, I felt like a breeze in my mind. Like, I don't know how you explain that, but I felt a breeze in my mind, and I was just everything. It wasn't what I was thinking. It's like everything I felt just came out my mouth. And I don't like that feeling, but I was glad that that happened, you know, because I was like, I'm tired of y'all, you know, because I guess y'all feel like I'm the weak one, or you feel like I'm not going to say or do anything. I'm tired of y'all trying to use me as the punching bag. Like, them days is over. Like, I got options. I can stay my rusty behind home, you know. And so, but delay your reaction, delay how you like your acting on your emotions. Don't deny them. Like, whatever you need to do, like, I have to go vent to somebody. Once I vent and they tell me how they feel, or, you know, I get it out, I'm cool. I'm like, okay. You know, especially if they tell me, oh yeah, you made the right decision. Oh yeah, yeah, I wouldn't have dealt with that either. Or yeah, I would, you know, you're a better person than me. Blah, blah, blah. You know, once I hear that, like a affirmation that I did the right thing, I'm like, okay, well, cool, I'm good. But let me make sure. Um, Gotcha. So every day we're gonna have homework. Um, so today's homework is called deactivate. And so I want you to, on your personal pages or on this page, post 4 action steps you're going to take in the next 30 days to deactivate your triggers. So me, I remove myself out. I get up out of Dodge, or I shut my computer down. I watch something on YouTube. I think, Trish, are you breathing? Then I think about it from another perspective, and that's something that was a strength of mine. But because of the way I was raised, and my mom and my sister would be going at it, and I was the type to be like, you're wrong because you said this, and that was hurtful and disrespectful, and you're wrong because, you know, you're not the adult, and da 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 da. And then they both would be cussing me out, and I'm the only one in the room crying, feeling like less than human, and they're like going to the store together, and I'm just like, what, you know? And so I stopped doing that. I mean, I still see people's side perspectives or how they might think or feel or why they would do what they're doing, but I don't voice it. Um, and so, but I look at it from their perspective. They might not ever know that I think and I thought about their perspective when they were acting the donkey, but I do. And then I think, like, why did that get to me? Because that shouldn't have bothered me at all. Like, I shouldn't have even cared about that. And then when I do that, then I'm chill. Like, I'll say, okay, well, it was whatever. It was a stupid comment, or it was for whatever reason you felt like you needed to say whatever or do whatever, or take the actions you did, or lie and scheme, or whatever you felt like you need to do to get what you wanted. And that's fine. That has nothing to do with me. That doesn't reflect on me. That doesn't diminish me in any way. So I'm good, and then I'll vent, and I'm close to perfect, like as far as how I feel, like close to feeling like myself. Um, if you want to take it a step further, then I want you to post a video sharing what actions you would take to deactivate your emotional triggers. How do you unpack your baggage? That's the last thing I want y'all to hashtag. Hashtag unpack my baggage, or just type I'm unpacking my baggage. And so there's a few things before I get off this live. And if you want, we're having an after party. I have not decided what we're going to do or what I'm going to talk about, but we're having an after party on Zoom. And I might have time to post a link. I don't know yet. But I want y'all to join me there, and I could actually see y'all beautiful, lovely faces. But before I go, want to let y'all know, okay, so today's the last day of the 30-day journaling project. And so I've decided we're going to put this in book form, get some like coloring pages, or I don't know if it's going to be in a company workbook. Haven't figured it out yet, but it's going to be in book form soon. And so you can take your time and do the 30-day journaling project. Like, you have September has 30 days, November has 30 days, April has 30 days, June has 30 days. So there's 4 days out of the year you can do it, or do it as a group. And then on the 26th, we will have our tea, but we're doing it virtually. Like how I'm doing this live with you, we will do the tea that way. Like, it's been the past 5-6 years. We've spent money, we've rented places, we've gotten all types of different speakers, and a handful of people show up. And so I want it to be where no matter where you are in the country, where you are at the moment, you can participate. And even if you can't, because I know that's classic and everybody and their mama's gonna be there, I won't be there. That's a story for another day. I had such a horrible experience one year at the classic. I was like, I will never like, you have to give me a box seating, and I need to park in the stadium for me to ever go back. It was so awful. I wish I had time to tell y'all the story. But and so one of my dearest, closest friend, I consider her a mentor, because she's helped me. Helped affirm me so much, and helped me think out things, and helped me just realize the greatness that's in me. We'll have a conversation with her. She's dynamic, always supports everything I do, and that's rare to find somebody that's not a black woman that supports everything you do, because they see a kindredness with you, and they know your intentions are pure and good. Okay, so in November, we're having the gratitude dinner and appreciation party. Don't have a date. I want y'all to vote on the date. So I'll post a link on here too after we get done with everything. So you can go vote on what day we're going to have this dinner. And then if you want an invitation, it's going to be here in Birmingham. I'm just going to be up front. We might stream it so wherever you are, you can participate. But it's going to be here in Birmingham. I'm not traveling anywhere to do all of that. I'm just not. So, but then in December, we're going to have the Pay It Forward challenge. So every day I'm going to post something for you to do. Like, I don't know if I'm going to post it the night before so you can have all day to do it, or if I'm early in the morning, do it. I'm more of a, I don't know what I am anymore. I used to be a night owl, but now like 9, 10 o'clock, I just fall asleep and don't even know I'm asleep. So I just wake up the next morning early, like I got a job to go to. And I'm like, okay, what's on the agenda for today? So, but I got time to figure out when these are going to happen. I have the activities. I have like half the activities already planned. And then January 1st, it depends on the interest that I get. I want to do a transformation mastermind. Now, I would love to leave Birmingham and do this. Like, I would. It would give me a lot of joy to get out of the city. I mean, I love Birmingham. Don't get me wrong. But, sometimes most of the um, breakthroughs in my life happened when I was nowhere near here or came from somebody who probably has never been here. So I would just like to just do something, go somewhere different. And me love new experiences. So I would just like to go somewhere else. So and then last, because I have 2 more minutes before I have to let y'all go. I want to start doing things on my YouTube channel. Like, I've had my YouTube channel for years, and I have like 4 things on it. Um, so I'm gonna bring back the rundown where I look at things that are happening in pop culture and politically, and it's mostly things that affect families, mothers, children, um, and just the quality of residential life. So I want to bring that back. Bring it back Q&A Wednesday. So send in your questions. I will answer it as honestly as I can. And then I want to get moms. I want to get dads. I want to get anybody that wants to be involved to do a couple of holiday episodes. And I have a few show ideas. And so you will get the topic in advance. And we're going to all meet and we're going to film each other and edit it all up and present it. And so if you're interested, let me know. But I got a minute and 30 seconds, so I'm going to sign off. So remember, I will post the homework, but it's 4 action steps you're going to take to deactivate your triggers. And hopefully, and tag 5 of your friends. Share this with your friends, with your group, your friend list, and let's get more people in these lives. But until tomorrow, I love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Yes, I'm.